Awesome. Sorry for the difficulties getting started here, everybody. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone for tuning in to our live broadcast this evening. We have two exceptional candidates who are, they're not just competing, but they're also dedicating to serving the community and specifically serving as our next mayor of Surprise. My name is Raul Sada. I'm the president and CEO for the Northwest Valley Chamber of Commerce. And for those of you who don't know, the Chamber of Commerce provides candidate forums as a public service, and we are privileged and proud to play a role in the democratic process. Before we get started, I'm going to introduce our moderator, and then after I introduce the moderator, Rick will go ahead and proceed with some of the questions, and then I'll make a couple of wrap-up comments. For those of you who don't know Rick, Rick Gray, his name may sound familiar to you. Rick is a former small business owner. He's a distinguished former member of the Arizona Senate and the Arizona House of Representatives. Rick also serves on the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce, and he is currently our government relations chairperson. So with that, Rick, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and let the conversations begin.
Thank you, Raul. And I want to thank both of you, Kevin and Ali, for being willing to take the time out of your busy schedules to have this forum and help educate the community on their choices and why they should pick one of you as mayor. And again, as Raul said, thank you for being willing to serve. It's, you know, public service is a huge commitment, and it's an involvement, and to me, it's an honor to be able to do that, but it's also a huge responsibility. So we are going to have opening remarks. There'll be 3 minutes for both of you. We have previously randomly chosen, and so Kevin is going to start out. Kevin Sartor will start out on the first 3 minutes, and then we'll pass it to Ali Kline. So Kevin, you got 3 minutes.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Rick, and good evening. I appreciate you guys hosting this. It's an incredible forum. So like Rick said, my name is Kevin Sartor, and I'm running for Mayor Surprise. I love this city and I believe in its potential, right? Everybody has a journey in life, and my journey, you know, started with serving in the military, right? We all saw the attacks on 9/11, and I was compelled, and I knew it was my generation's turn to step up and do something, and that's exactly what I did. So I spent 20 years in the Army, right? Defending freedom, defending the American way of life, right? Protecting America and protecting Arizona. Right. My journey also includes my education. I have a bachelor's in Homeland Security and Emergency Management. I have a master's in Public Administration, and I have certificates in Leadership and Project Management. Right. I'm also serving Surprise. I've coached almost every single kids sports that you could do, from kickball to basketball to soccer, all of it, right? But I've served on the planning and zoning, and I've chaired the planning and zoning, and those are incredible gentlemen. And they, you know, it was time to nominate a chair, and I didn't even really ask for it, but they saw the potential in me. They nominated me chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. And in my current role as the Dysart Safety Coordinator, I ensure that 22,000 students are safe and secure every time they go to school. Right. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm not, you know, in fact, I'm a very humble man. Right. If you ask my family, probably a little bit too humble. Right. But I believe in Surprise, and I believe that I'm a different candidate for Surprise. Right. It's about my perspective. Right. My perspective is that, you know, I am what Surprise is, as far as the median age being 38. I'm 41. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I have 3 amazing children that go to public school here. Right. And I'm a veteran. And I think all those things give me the perspective, right, to have a vision of mayor. And really that vision is quite simple for me, right? It's about public safety. It's about school safety. It's about infrastructure, water, veterans' rights, just to name a few of those, right? That's my passion, right? I have grit. I have determination. I'm a patriot. And I am here today humbly asking for your vote on July 30th for me to be mayor, right? We have a big choice, and I would appreciate your consideration. sartorforsurprise.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And Ali Kline, you're up next.
Rick and Mr. Sartor, thank you very much. My name is Allison Kline, and I'm also asking for you to consider me to be your next mayor. We need to make sure that our city council works together. As much as you think the mayor is in charge, it's only one vote of 7, and the City of Surprise City Council right now is working really well together. It's been my honor to serve on the council for the past 4 years, including 1 year as vice mayor. Being mayor of Surprise is a full-time job, 40 to 50 hours a week, and the citizens deserve nothing less. I'm the only candidate with the experience necessary to hit the ground running and the commitment to give this job full-time attention that it deserves. I have 32 years of professional experience in leadership and financial services and business acquisitions. As vice president and regional manager, I trained over 10,000 employees and managed a customer portfolio of over 86 million in deposits. I have significant financial experience and fully recognize the importance of transparency, attention to detail, and protecting the taxpayer. In this difficult economy, with the reduction of revenue shared by the state, I am committed to striking the right balance between funding essential city services and making sure that Surprise remains as affordable as possible. Public safety is my top priority. I will fight every day to ensure that our first responders have the tools and resources that they need to be there when we need them the most. Public safety is more than just fire and police, the people who put their lives on the line to help keep us safe. It also means investing in intersections and well-connected roads that help keep emergency response times low. We are making some strides to improve our streets, but there is more that can be done, especially since our city is in a growth mode. I have the honor of serving District 2 at this time, which includes the Grand Surprise and a number of other communities. I've also participated in district meetings throughout the city, including representing on several occasions part of District 4, which includes the original town site. Our city is vibrant and diverse, from the new families and the young children and people seeking retirement. I also was a coach for 9 years and 18 teams for the City of Surprise. I want to bring the many parts of our city together and ensure that it serves all generations and offers excellent amenities and strengthens our quality of life. And lastly, I'm a proud supporter of Luke Air Force Base and their F-35 mission. The base is not only critical to our national security, but it is an economic asset that benefits the surrounding cities, including Surprise. My husband, Gary, is a Vietnam veteran. My husband of 36 years. I have 2 adult children. And I know that the brave men and women who have served our country in one way or another deserve our support. I've also proudly supported the Veterans Roundtable and the Veterans Support Group inside City of Surprise. So I'm not personally a veteran, but I have supported veteran services throughout my years of service. So I hope you will consider me, Allie Kline, elect alliekline.com, to be your next mayor.
Well, thank you. We will go to next round of questions. We're going to be alternating between the 2 candidates. And so, Allie, you will be up first on this one. Okay. What are your top 2 or 3 priorities if elected?
Let me think for a sec. Outreach communication to the residents of Surprise, especially those that are new to our city, who may not know all the avenues of communication that are offered and how we can reach out to those folks, as well as continuing our safe city priority. We're very proud of that within the City of Surprise, that we are a safe city. And since our crime rate has gone down, we've continued to have a safe city. So that's a priority for me, as well as expanding our transportation opportunities for the community.
It's in the waiting room by the name of James, trying to get in.
Raul, you might want to mute your speaker. Okay, Kevin, you're up next. What are your top 2 or 3 priorities if you're elected?
Yeah, thank you. So my top priority is public safety, right? If you go out your front door, you have to know that you're safe, right? When we send our kids to school, we have to know that they're safe. And if all else fails, that's our top priority, right? Another priority of mine is infrastructure and economic development, right? We have to ensure that, we have the roads and we have the capacity, right, to build our city economically, right, and relieve some of that traffic congestion around the city, right? Another one is water. Water is essential to life, and without it, we can't do anything here in the city. And I will ensure that we have a safe, reliable, redundant water system here in Surprise. It's the absolute thing that we have to do. And I know you said 2 or 3, and if I'd like to sneak in one more, it's veterans, right? Allie said that she, supported veterans, but I am a veteran, right? And not just, one type of veteran. I have a lot of experience in the military. I started enlisted in the Army, right? Deployed twice to combat, over 27 months defending freedom, fighting terrorism in Iraq. I became a sergeant, earned my degree, switched over to the Guard, and became an engineer officer. So all those different perspectives for me is what is going to make me want that passion, right, for our veterans. So I just wanted to say that last little bit, but yeah, thank you.
Okay, the next question is going to be a little bit less policy and maybe a little more fun. But the question, and you'll be up first, Kevin, is what neighborhood do you live in, and what are your favorite places to spend time in the town?
Yeah, thank you. So I live in Greer Ranch. It's in the south part of the city, and I love my community. I bought my first house here in 2011, and it's just an amazing community. Everybody gets together. If you come here on Halloween, they block off the roads, and it's a big thing. So I love my community, and Surprise has so much to offer, right? Where I spend my time. I love, a Costco, right? I think my wife probably loves it a little bit more, but for me, it's a local shops, right? My wife and I went to Chicago last summer, and we had that the Chicago style pizza, and we came back like, we got to find a pizza place. So we went to Little Sicily, and met George, and we've been going over there ever since. It's like a family over there. George is incredible. Some of the other stuff, I mean, I can go on and on, but Uni Sushi, I like to go there. But then also, we have incredible parks here in the city. It's my daughter plays volleyball, and we'll go up there at night and play in the sand volleyball court, just a pickup game of volleyball. And you have all these people from around the city, and it's just amazing to see everybody come together and just having fun. And also, we'll stop by a salad and go and go take a little picnic at the park too, or dinner outside. So yeah, Surprise is incredible. I mean, I could probably talk for we have over 60 small businesses or small restaurants. So I could talk forever. But those are where I hang out. That's I love Surprise. So thank you.
And Allie, for you again, what is the neighborhood you live in, and what are your favorite places to spend time in?
Well, I live in Sun City Grand. I arrived here in 2002 when there were only 25,000 people in the community, and there were no restaurants at all in the city of Surprise. But the place I'm most often found is the library and the library bookstore and the nonprofit that I run, supporting teachers and literacy and reading programs at 42 different campuses within the city of Surprise, or the geographic around the city of Surprise. So I can almost always be found there. I'm not much of an out eater, but my favorite restaurant is Big Buddha, which is an individually owned restaurant. And my friend Daniel, who owns Big Buddha, came out here with his family, and it's a wonderful restaurant. So I try to get out there at least every month or so to visit with them. And so I cook at home, I eat at home, but I enjoy going out once in a while. So you can always find me at the library.
Excellent. Next question is, how will you support the business community, the local Chamber of Commerce, and economic development if you're elected? And Allie, you get to go first on that one.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, I actually currently do support the Economic Development Department with a number of things. I started the Women in Business program at the City of Surprise Economic Development. We have Galentine's Day in the early part of the year, and then we have on National Small Business, Women's Small Business Day in November. So we have an event that supports our women in business owners. And I was the chair for the Business Education Subcommittee for the City of Surprise, working with our local businesses to do workforce development on the needed jobs within our city. And so I work with economic development on a regular basis. I currently sit on a number of committees for the City of Surprise, including Maricopa County Association of Governments. I'm on their broadband task force to bring broadband to those areas of Surprise that may not have it or may not have access to all of it as much as we would like them to have, as well as I'm on the Maricopa Association of Governments Domestic Violence Committee, as well as I sit as chair on the, I'm sorry, I don't sit as chair. I am on the board for the Valley Metro Transportation Committee. So that's a inter-city, inter-community across all of Maricopa.
Okay, thank you. And Kevin, I'll repeat the question for you too.
Thank you.
How do you support the business community, the local chamber of commerce, and economic development if elected?
That's a lot to unpack, Rick. But great question. I think for me, it starts with, the safety. It starts with the infrastructure, right? It starts with the water. If we can't provide those things, no company is going to even probably want to come here, right? It's important, right? So those are the things I think that will really drive home that economic development. It's important for us to do those things. As far as working with the chamber and progressing the chamber, I think there's a lot that we can do. I know Ali mentioned the subcommittee, right? And they've done a good job of, I think, starting, but I think there's so much more that can be done, and there's so much more potential that that we can do with workforce development, right? And bringing that to the city. So when I look at it, it's I think just partnerships, right? Partnering with, and Ali mentioned a couple of them, right? But just developing those partnerships to help the workforce. And that's through WestMec, that's through Dysart, through, WestMec, all those different things, right? But I think we can do more. And I think if we look, I know the state has an apprenticeship program that we could probably tie into that. I think would definitely help develop the workforce. And, I think continuing to focus on those things, but we can just dream a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper, and do a lot more things for the city.
Thank you. The next one, this one is an audience question. What are your thoughts on continuing growth in Surprise without causing overpopulation or traffic congestion? And Kevin, you get the first one on that.
Yeah, thank you. So it's a balance, right? It's a balance. Our city's growing, and that growth has outpaced our infrastructure, right? And it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get in and around the city. But I think in order to be smart and responsible about growth is, we can do a lot of things. I think we work with developers, right? Before they even start their plans to figure out where they're gonna, put their developments and make sure that those are in line with what we're doing. I think it's important that we have contiguous in development, right? So when, developments are building, we're not leapfrogging one over another, right? And having the city have to foot the bill for, that infrastructure, right? We work with the developers and make sure that we have the right development to impact fees, right? And all those things to make sure that we are developing our city, but developing it in a way that the infrastructure is keeping pace. And it's something that we've struggled with. But as mayor, I'm 100% going to focus on that, because it's not just a nuisance issue, right? With not being able to go in and around the city. It's a public safety issue. I mean, there's accidents all the time on 163rd and Grand, and traffic up and down Bell is busy, right? But those are things I'm going to focus on as mayor.
Okay, Ali, your question again. What are your thoughts on continuing growth in Surprise without causing overpopulation, traffic congestion?
Let's see. Growth is something that we really need to focus on. We have really strong private property rules in the state of Arizona. And we have people who purchased land years and years and years ago who have been holding on to it. And now we have the Costco effect with where people are wanting to move here. So we need to make sure that our planning and zoning people, of which Kevin has been one for a number of years, work with those requests that are brought to planning and zoning to talk about, is this the right process at the right place? Is it the right, do we want to make sure that we have not just the infrastructure, which is not actually paid for by it's paid for by the developer, but not as impact fees. So streets and roads are not paid for by impact fees. The developer is required to develop the street when they develop the property. So that's a little different way of doing that in the city. But we also need to make sure that the commercial opportunities are there. So if you have a new development, part of that development may need to have, as we have up in Asante, a Fry's restaurant, Fry's supermarket, and a McDonald's or a Taco Bell or something, so that the people have access to those amenities near where they live, so that they don't have to drive to Peoria or to another part of the town to get those amenities. So it is a balance. I agree on that. It is a balance to make sure that the developers do their part or pay the city to do that part for them, and to make sure that the housing is as affordable as it can be made. We are not able to price properties here. That's up to the developer. So we can't make that change and say this house should be $50,000 less. But we can make sure that when properties come to us at the city, they go through the city planning department first, and then they go to planning and zoning, and they only come to council at the end, and generally only if there's an exception that someone wants. Council doesn't actually, as weird as this might sound, council doesn't get involved in making those decisions, whether it's at the mayor's level or at the council level, because those decisions are made if they comply within the current existing structure. So we don't really have a way to prevent people from coming to the city or building in the city legally, but we do have a way to encourage the kind of building that we want. So working with our economic development partners, working with our planning and zoning people, working with our community planning to make sure that the properties that do come to us meet all of the requirements that we set out, that we wanted to have as part of our communities. So it is a balance, and overpopulation is a trick question, I think, but we want to make sure that the population goes in the areas that are not populated now, which means that we will be expanding those areas on the north and the east, as well as the south and the west.
Thank you. And now we're going to move into the lightning round, where each one of you get to ask a question of the other candidate. That candidate will have 1 minute to respond to that question, and then the questioner will have 30-second rebuttal. Hopefully you can fit within those time frames. But Allie, you're up first, so you get to ask Kevin the first question. And Kevin, you'll have 1 minute to respond to her.
Okay, so Kevin, a number of times in your presentation this afternoon, you've asked about water and water resources. Are you aware that the City of Surprise has a robust water recharging process? And we have not only 100 years of water, and every development that comes into us must meet that minimum, but we also have banked water going forward. So although I can see where that would be a concern, can you tell me what your knowledge is about the water situation here in Surprise?
Great question, Allie. I appreciate that. I did a fellowship with the City of Surprise my last few months in the Army, and it was a strategic growth plan. And I worked with Bob, the city manager, and I worked with all the directors, and Mike Boulay specifically. He's a brilliant man. And what I know about water is this, right? We have to continue to invest in our water infrastructure, right? Continue to expand our water portfolio, right? And continue to make sure that we are ahead of the game, right? Yeah, we have banked water and we do other things, but we have to be ahead of the game, right? We have that, some stuff from the water from the Colorado River, right? And we have our, reclaimed water, but we just need to continue to think ahead. I think with the city being engaged in the regional water plan, right, and working towards some of those water goals, I think that's incredibly important. And as mayor, I'm going to continue to focus on that and make sure that, it's not just saying, hey, yeah, we got 100-year water now. It's really about looking towards the future, right? And looking I think being a leader is about anticipating, not just saying, hey, we're good right now. It's about anticipating and saying, hey, this is where we're going to go. This is my vision, and this is how we're going to achieve it.
Okay.
Is it my 30 seconds back?
It's your 30 seconds up.
Okay. I agree. But having enough water now and making sure that all of our incoming units. Anything that comes in here meets those criteria. And right now we're putting into the city more water than we are taking out. And so I think that the city people we have working on that process, including Mike Boulay, are brilliant. We've got a process with other areas to expand dam collection, but right now we're banking our water in anticipation of going forward. So my answer is we're good on water now, and we have a plan to go forward. And that's something that we should continue to do, but it's definitely something that is not a crisis.
Yeah, thank you. And Kevin, you get your question to ask, and Allie, you'll have 1 minute to reply, or a few seconds over. But
Okay.
Go, Kevin.
Sure. You know, Allie, I think a good leader can be reflective. I think a good leader can understand their decisions and think back about, was that the right decision? You know, you have the facts that you have when you make that decision, but I think it's important to be able to reflect and continue to move forward. There was a pretty contentious development here in Surprise, the Dominion project, and you voted for that. And from your perspective, being reflective on that vote, would you have done anything different now?
Okay, my answer is really quick. You voted for it as well in that committee meeting, and we probably both voted for it for the same reasons. We had no legal ability to deny that project because the developer met every issue that was presented to them. The city took a year to evaluate whether or not we could in fact deny that claim, and the liability to the city of Surprise, had we decided to do that, which we did not, either one of us, would have been between $30 and $50 million in expenses to attorneys, which would have resulted in us still having that project built, and they would have then been able to cost justify back to lack of income.
Thank you. Kevin, you've got 30 seconds to respond.
I appreciate that response, Allie. I really do. I think it's important that we reflect on what we've done. And while I did vote for it, my gut told me not to vote for it. And I should have listened to my gut. You know, sometimes it's about, you know, does that fit with the community? And sometimes it doesn't. And I was told it was more of about a $10 million lawsuit, not a $30 or $50 million lawsuit. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But I appreciate that, Allie.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next question. And Kevin, you're up first on this one. If you received $5 million grant to use for the city in any way you wanted, what would you do with it and why?
For sure. When I hear it, I just think of the Austin Powers, like $1 million. But either way, let's focus on what we got going on here. So, you know, it's not my $5 million. It's not what Kevin wants to do with that money. It's really about, what do the residents want? What do the residents need, right? What are we going to do with that? And how do we get that return on investment, right? It's not about just what I want. I have to listen to residents, right? I have to listen to our experts in the different departments, you know, listen to Bob and really understand what is going to be impactful for our city, right? Is it going to be safety? Is it going to be infrastructure, right? What's going to be the biggest impact, and what's going to be really our return on investment? So my vision is public safety. So I would 100% want to put money towards public safety. My vision is school safety. I think there's so much going on in schools, right? And the schools are siloed in what they do with their safety plans, right? Dysart has ours, right? There's public schools, there's our charter schools, private schools, home schools. But I want to lead that conversation. And in that conversation, bringing everybody together and say, how can we make our kids safe, right? I think some of that money can go towards that. And then, of course, continuing to invest in some of our infrastructure. You know, we talked about the roads, right? How do we make sure that those are good? I think investing in infrastructure. But again, it's you know, as a leader, you have to be able to listen to different folks, right? Listen to the residents, and really just continue to do what the will of the people is. you
Thank you. And Allie, I'll repeat the question for you. If you you received a $5 million grant to use for the city in any way you wanted, what would you do with it?
Okay, so 5 million, not 1 million, right? Okay, so having had conversations with our budget people and some of the people in our communities that talked about what we need, I do agree with Kevin in one area that I would take part of it to use, like we are now up at 163rd, where the city is fronting money to expand 163rd and use it for that. But I would also use a portion of that to support our Surprise Resource Center, which provides services to our the population that has the most chance of becoming homeless, not having money for air conditioners, not having money for heat. So I think I would invest a good deal of, if I had 5 million to spend, I would spend it with our Surprise Resource Center and the programs that they provide to our most vulnerable community. And then I think I would also look to utilize some portion of that money for things to develop our internal our internal employees, who we could continue to develop their expertise so that we continue to have a deep bench of people who love Surprise and want to make Surprise the best place to work and live.
Very good, thank you. And the next question will be, if you're not elected, what would you do to try and help work on ideas or issues that are important to you? And Allie, you're up first on this one.
Yay, okay, so I had to think about this question a lot. I've always been involved in something, and I probably would spend, if I'm not elected, I would focus my time on working with nonprofits that provide education and financial literacy to a number of groups, whether that would be our young people that possibly don't know how to handle their money, or adults that are just learning to have money and might need to know ways to invest it and put money aside for retirement, or for parents who are now taking care of special needs children, or their parents who might have issues with dementia. And all of those have a financial literacy component. So that's where I would probably take my heart first.
And Kevin, the question for you again is, if you're not elected, what would you do to help work on ideas and issues that are important to you?
Yeah, I think it's important. I have been engaged in the city, right? And that civic engagement, that civic pride is incredibly important to me, to make sure that we're moving our city forward. But I feel confident in the election and I feel confident in the results. But if I weren't elected, I would continue to do what my passion is, right? And that is just school safety, right? We have to make sure that our kids, again, when they go out that front door to go to school and they're at school and they come back home, that they're safe, right? We have a safe and secure environment for them. There's so much that we can do, right? And I do it every day as a safety coordinator, right? I make sure that 22,000 kids are safe every single day. And I just know that there's so much more that we can do. And there's a lot of noise in this sector, right? From lobbyists at the state house, lobbyists at the federal level, right? On things that don't work. So I just want to make sure that we're focusing on the right things, right? And making sure that we are doing everything we can to make our schools safe. And that would be continuing my service to the city.
Okay, thank you. And I think both of you might have touched on this a little bit, but I'm going to ask you the question anyway. And so Kevin, you'll be going next. How will you partner with the various stakeholders in the community if elected?
Yeah, I think partnerships are key, right? When I was in the Army, one of the first things I partnered with was with an Army hospital, right? To bring a tobacco cessation program to the drill sergeant candidates that I were training. That way, when they go on to train soldiers, they could lead by example, right? When I was in the Army, National Guard as an engineer officer, I partnered with the state. I partnered with the Alaska government, the federal government to build, extend a runway for a tribe in Alaska to improve their economic growth. And so those are the partnerships, the experience that I have that I will take to the mayor's office. But here in Surprise, it's partnering with anybody that wants to make Surprise great. I think this is a good opportunity to reach across our city borders, to partner with them. I mean, at some point, in the West Valley, right? I grew up in the West Valley. I've seen it grow. And for a long time, we're like, hey, we want some of that stuff out in the East Valley, but right now the West Valley is the place to be. And there's going to be a corporate headquarters here somewhere in the West Valley. And I think partnering with the stakeholders across the city lines, making sure that we develop our workforce, making sure that we have a skilled workforce, I think those are important things. So anybody that wants to partner, I think as stakeholders in this community is incredibly important to listen to them, right? And we also have to be able to reach them where they're at, right? Everybody, communicates a different way, but I think as long as we can, as a mayor, I will reach out to anybody, whether that's a formal meeting, whether that's a Zoom call, or whether that's a cocktail. At the end of the day, working with folks, talking to them, right? Because it's about leadership, it's about communication, and it's about partnerships.
And Allie, again, the same question. How will you partner with various stakeholders in the community if elected?
Well, the number one stakeholder in the community is obviously the residents. So you have to make yourself available to the residents to share their thoughts. But the second stakeholder is our businesses, whether that be our small businesses or our large businesses, to find out what's important to them. So one of the things that I'm currently doing is to work with our education subcommittee, which then works with WestMac and our other community partners, Estrella community, Ottawa community, to help them make the needs of our workforce the best that it can be. And you're right, you have to reach across city lines. So some of the committees I'm already on do that kind of partnering, but you can bring in new ideas. You can have people come and say, this is a great idea. It worked over here, and maybe it works in our community and maybe it doesn't. So we have to add residents, we have to add businesses, we have to add our scholastic educational partners, and then looking forward to the future, what kinds of jobs will be needed in our community and how will those things be available. We're currently working with Estrella Community College, we're working with Rio Salado Community College, we're working with Ottawa. All of those partnerships, not all of them are in Surprise, but they have an impact on the workforce of Surprise. So I think because I know a lot of the people in other communities now already, I will have an easy time of getting together with those folks to bring more ideas and more ways that we can make Surprise an even better place to live and work.
Thank you. And you'll be the first one on the next question. What do you think about the current transportation options in our community?
Well, I would like to see more. We currently have a number of things available now. We have just expanded We Ride, which is an economic way for our folks down to age 13 to get around town, as well as our older residents. It's $2 for residents for a trip and $1 for seniors or those who are disabled. We also have Ride Choice, which is a 24-hour service that allows people to go 8 miles for $3. But what we need to do with both of those services is continue to expand them so that people have more choices if they choose not to drive, or they're not able to drive, or they're not, or they don't have a car. All of those things can happen. So I'd like to see more, and that is an area that we could continue to expand in this city as our community continues to grow.
Okay, and Kevin, I'll repeat that question for you too. What do you think about the current transportation options in our community?
Yeah, thank you, Rick. We Ride has started, right? It's a good start, I believe, but there is a lot more that we can do, right? And I tie this back to the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development, right? If an employee can't get to where they're going to go, and really there's a lot of young folks that just don't want to drive now. And so we have to be able to support our businesses by getting residents from where they're at to the business. So I think that's a big driver in our economic development and in transportation. But we just need to continue to focus on that, right? Focus on partnerships, focus on ways that we can reduce the cost for the city to make sure that we're not, spending all of our money on transportation, although it's a big issue and we have to tackle it. We just have to do that through partnerships and working with community partners.
Okay, and then Kevin, you'll be the next one up on this one. If someone came to you with a proposal to build a new piece of public infrastructure in our city, like a road or bridge or et cetera, how would you evaluate whether or not the project was worth implementing?
Yeah, thank you, Rick. So one of the first things that the Army teaches you is about a decision-making process, right? When lives are on the line, you have to be able to make the right decisions at the right time. And so I'm going to take that moving forward, especially as mayor, and make sure that whatever is proposed, right, we have to make sure we get that return on investment, right? We have to evaluate it based on safety. We have to evaluate it based on, is it going to improve transportation? Is it going to improve economic development? And really go back to the residents and say, what do you think about this, right? Because it's that communication, that dialogue back and forth, right? So I would make sure that it is going to have a return on investment, right? Make sure that it's going to fit within what the city needs, and really just go through that decision-making process and talking to the departments, talking to Bob, and talking to residents, and making sure that it is what the city needs.
Thank you. And Allie, I'll repeat the question for you too. Unless you're familiar with it already, but if someone came to you with a proposal to build a new piece of public infrastructure in our city, like a road or a bridge, how would you evaluate whether or not the project was worth implementing?
Well, decision-making is something I've done for a long time, and it's part of leadership is to be able to make the decision that if it's a single person decision, that's one issue. But if it's a community decision, my first evaluation would be, does it benefit the entire city as opposed to benefiting one small segment of that city? And the second thing that I would use as an evaluation is, how do we pay for it? How do we pay for things that we need to bring in? Does it come from property tax? Does it come in from a grant? Does it come in from a financing opportunity? And what is that impact of our decision on the tax basis for the residents?
Thank you. And then you will be the first one up on this question. What are your thoughts or plans? You've mentioned workforce development, I think both of you have, but what are your thoughts on plans on building a skilled workforce?
I think you actually have to work with partners, as we were talking about before, looking at some of the opportunities that are available. So I'll give you an example. In the next 5 years, water management people around the state of Arizona will be retiring, the existing population. So we have an opportunity at this point to look at training those individuals so they are ready to step in at the junior positions before those people retire. And what that meant to us was we needed to look out and say, great, let's work with Westmac, let's work with our water treatment folks, and let's help design a program that can fill that need for workforce development that isn't here yet. The second part of that is, what kind of STEM jobs will be needed in our community that aren't currently addressed? So one of the opportunities we have is working with our community colleges as well as ASU and Ottawa University. Are those classes available and being presented so that students can take it? And is there a need for scholarships in those areas? So again, that's a partnership. Where's the money that can fund those issues, but also looking forward to the kinds of jobs that will be needed down the road in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years. Those things are changing. We don't have horses and buggy whips anymore. So we do need to look at what's coming down the road and what skills are needed. And the only way to do that is working with economic development and reaching out to the businesses in our community to ask them, what do you need now and what do you think you will need in the future?
Okay, and Kevin, again, the question is, what are your thoughts or plans on building a skilled workforce?
Thank you, Rick. So having 2 daughters that are, one's in high school, one's about to be in high school, and having a son that's deployed right now overseas, right? This workforce development is key. And one of the things as a commander in the Army that I did was make sure that our soldiers were getting that training and getting that development. And it is through partnerships, right? We would send them off to get training, they'd have those skills. And I wanted, when they came back from training, I wanted to make sure that they were partnered with folks within the community partners, stakeholders, to make sure that they can take those skills and continue to develop them. So it's something that is passionate for me, and I want to make sure that we focus on it. But I think Surprise also, it's about workforce development, skilled labor, but it's also, I think, about maybe a workforce misalignment, where there's a lot of jobs in the West Valley, a lot of jobs in Surprise, and some of those jobs folks don't want, and some of those jobs folks aren't qualified for. So bridging that gap is really, in my mind, the biggest thing that we can do. And it's developing them through partnerships. As I mentioned, the state apprenticeship program, if we can have a high school kid, right, go from being in high school and having a career pathway to being in whatever job that they want and bridging that gap, that's what we need to do. And so it's through partnerships, through WestMech, right, through Ottawa, through all those different things that Ali mentioned, but it's really about having that passion to do it.
Okay, and I think because you guys are so great, if I'm used to being with legislators and legislators bloviate, so we would not have gotten through near this many questions. But I think we can get 2 more questions before we finish up with closing remarks. So Kevin, you will start this one. What are your principles or core values as it pertains to public policy?
I've thought about that one, Rick. That's a good question. So for me, those core values as mayor and local politics, you're where the rubber meets the road. You're there every day with residents. You're working with them, and you're really quite in the thick of government. And it's really the only level that you can do that. And so my values are going to be to listen to residents, right? To make sure that they understand what we're doing in our city, and making sure that I'm approaching everything selflessly, making sure that it's the right decision for Surprise, and it's making sure that I have the wherewithal to make sure that we're doing what we need to do for the city. So it's all those values that combine into making sure that, as mayor, I'm going to do the right things, working with our residents, and making sure that I'm doing it for the right reasons, right? It's not about me, it's about Surprise. It's about making sure that, we understand where we're at and having the vision to go where we need to go.
Okay, and Ali, again, I'll repeat the question. What are your principles or core values as it pertains to public policy?
Okay, well, public policy makes it a little trickier. One of my core values is literacy. Literacy for financial information, as well as education, reading, and skills. The city cannot control what local schools do or what their policies are. We have a separation between the city and the schools all over the geographic, but to work with the counselors at the schools on those students that maybe need to focus their efforts into trades so that they don't come back with big student debt. Again, that's part of financial responsibility. To work with what the city wants is very important. But again, we have to ask more than one person what they want. Some people want nothing to change since 1950. Some people want everything to change because we've gone into a new environment. So we need to be able to offer ourselves to listen, to hear, and to evaluate. One of my core values was to volunteer my time when I retired in 2008. And since 2008, I have 21,000 of volunteer hours to the city of Surprise. So in that case, if there's something that needs to be done, I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid of making sure that something is accomplished, because one of the things you have to do with partnerships is you have to make sure that the council as a team together wants to accomplish the things that the residents want to accomplish. And sometimes that means bringing in the information. Sometimes that means talking to the business owners and getting the collaborative response of the entire council, and also the people who work for the city who actually have to make those things happen, whether that's the police chief or the fire chief or the people who work in public works, and say, this is what we want to accomplish. This is what our community wants. And I can be the person that brings all of those things together collaboratively for the city of Surprise.
Thank you. And now we will end with your closing remarks. As we said earlier, you get to go first, Ali. So you'll have 3 minutes to give your closing remarks.
Okay. I'm an experienced leader. I've been in a leadership capacity for over 30 years. I've been in a leadership capacity in business. I've been in a leadership capacity in the nonprofit organizations I've worked with. I've worked collaboratively with different views of the same item with different companies. And I understand the financial budgeting process that the city goes through, and helping city council to set priorities that are not just what a city council member might want, but what the city needs as a whole. I want personally to make sure that we keep our safe city status. I want to make sure that our fire and medical groups have the best response times related to how many fire stations we have and how many people we have to serve. I want to work with state and federal officials to help make the changes that we need for Highway 60 and the 303 in order to improve the quality of life for those folks in Northern Surprise. But I don't want to have that be the only thing that we do. I want to make sure that we continue to balance our financial transparency and our financial abilities with the needs of the community, so that we're not reducing any services to people. And we're always making sure that we're also looking forward to the benefit of increasing the knowledge of our employees within the city, so they can continue to make good decisions and do good analysis. So my name is Allie Kline. I hope you will consider me for mayor. It's electalliekline.com.
Thank you. And Kevin, you're up for your closing remarks.
Thank you, Rick. You know, surprise, this election comes down to something very simple, right? Is it going to be the status quo, right? And all these things that Allie had talked about wanting to do, if she could have done them already, she would have, but she didn't. And now it's time for a new leader. It's time for a fresh perspective. It's time for somebody that can come in with big ideas and be able to accomplish something. Right? This is about the city of Surprise, and it's about the direction that we need to go. I'm humbly asking for your vote, and I am humbly asking you to go on July 30th to vote for Kevin Sartor, and that's kevinsartorformayor.com. This is an incredible opportunity, and there's so much that we can do. And I know with the right leader that we can get there. So thank you.
Well, and thank both of you for being willing to take the time out of your busy schedules to help inform the voters. That's a critical thing as far as I'm concerned, is that people are aware of where you stand and make educated decisions on who they vote for. So thank you for that commitment, not only to run, but to show up and share your ideas with us. And Raul, will pass it on over to you.
Awesome. Well, hey, first of all, Rick, I wanted to thank you for today's informative discussion. Also, a special shout out to both Allison and Kevin. I think we have some wonderful choices and options ahead of us. I would like to encourage everyone who's watching and will watch this to subscribe and like our Facebook page. We encourage you to share this post with your friends and neighbors, and be sure to leave your comments as well as reactions on our Facebook page. So on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, have a blessed and safe weekend, and thank you for tuning in today. Goodbye.
Thank you, John.